Hola chicos y chicas. Today we're going to be talking about concordancia de sustantivos y adjetivos. This grammatical concept has to do with the agreement of nouns and adjectives. So we talk about the agreement of género, so the agreement of gender from nouns to adjectives, so masculino and femenino, and the agreement of número, of number, so whether it will be singular or plural, meaning the noun is singular and the adjective will have to agree with the noun being singular, or if the noun is plural, the adjective will need to be plural. So let's move forward with it. So sustantivos y adjetivos, concordancia, agreement, nouns and adjectives. So el adjetivo necesita concordancia con el sustantivo. So anytime in Spanish when you've got a noun or a subject, it has to agree with the adjective that it is describing it. Okay, so this is what we call concordancia. So él es un chico muy guapo. Él is the subject. Es is el verbo. In this case is el verbo ser, is being conjugated in third person. Él. Un chico is the noun, el sustantivo, and muy guapo. Guapo is the adjective. Muy is technically an adverb, and it basically describes guapo a little bit more, so meaning he's very handsome. Okay, so here we go. Él is masculino singular, the pronoun. Es is going to be singular. Remember that verbs do not have gender. Él es, ella es. We just have verb conjugation. There's no gender to them. Un chico is going to be masculino singular. Muy guapo is going to be masculino singular. And in this case, we're just talking about guapo. So this whole sentence basically is in masculino singular. Okay, and we see that our sustantivo is masculino singular. Okay, so it agrees with guapo. Un chico, guapo. Okay, sustantivos y adjetivos a little bit more. Now we're going to look at a singular femenino example. So Lola is the subject. Es is the verb conjugation. Una chica, now here's the difference. Una chica is the noun here is femenino singular, and therefore ordenada, the adjective, has to be femenino singular, and that's what we call concordancia. Okay, the noun and the adjective have to agree. And it would be the same thing really as if our noun was just the subject, Lola. Lola es ordenada. Ordenada has to agree with our subject, which is femenino singular. So here we go. Let's write those down. You can pause at any time to write these, remember that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer that sentence and we're going to make it plural. And so what's going to happen now is that in gender and number, the noun and the adjective have to agree. So in this case, Lola y Rosa is our subject. We have a plural subject, right? Ellas son. So now we have an agreement of verb conjugation because Lola y Rosa, ellas son. And then here we go. Unas chicas. So the noun is now femenino plural, and therefore our adjective has to agree with our noun. So it would be estudiosas. So in this case, everything is femenino plural, except again for our verb conjugation, which is just going to be plural because there is no gender when we talk about verb conjugations. Okay, let's see another example. Now we have ellos son unos hombres simpáticos. Can you guess what this sentence is as far as gender and number? Well, let's see. Masculino plural. Ellos is the subject. Okay, son, it's going to be plural for el verbo ser. Unos hombres, the noun, is masculino plural, and therefore our adjective is going to agree. It's going to have concordancia. Masculino plural. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of practice here on these. Okay, so you're going to write the sentence in plural. Escribe la frase, or really escribe la oración en plural. So, la chica es muy guapa y trabajadora. You're going to work on these on your own. You're going to go through this whole screencast, and then we're going to correct them as a class. So, la chica es muy guapa y trabajadora. Tú eres un hombre muy antipático. La profesora es muy inteligente. El estudiante es perezoso. Okay, so make sure that you pause it real quick and take a few minutes to write these sentences in plural using the concept we've just gone over. Okay, so let's do práctica número 2. And what we got here now is las muchachas son talentosas. And now the práctica is you going from plural to singular. Okay, you're going the other way around now. So, las muchachas son talentosas. Ellos son unos chicos muy deportistas. Número 3, los profesores son excelentes. 4, las mujeres son muy altas y también son rubias. Remember that this is all vocab and things that we have done, and if you're not recognizing any of these, you need to make yourself a note and go back and review these terms and this vocabulary. And at least if mujeres, you didn't know that mujeres were women in plural, if you couldn't produce that, at least you should be able to recognize that. That's what we're getting at. So go ahead and work on those, and then we'll correct them once again as a class. Okay, so now let's talk about masculino o femenino. Okay, so when we talk about adjectives, so adjectives that end in O, they're going to be masculinos. This is pretty similar to nouns. So guapo, gordo, simpático, estudioso, or moreno are all adjectives that are masculine because they end in O. Now, adjectives that end in A are feminine. That is the general rule in Spanish. Okay, so fea, artística, delgada, or rubia are all adjectives that end in A, and therefore they're feminine. So they would be describing a feminine subject, a feminine noun. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about adjectives that are masculino or femenino. Okay, adjectives that end in E and the vowel E son masculinos. They're masculinos y femeninos, so they're both masculine and feminine. And this is, again, similar to nouns. So we have inteligente, so él es inteligente, or ella es inteligente, or él es paciente, or ella es paciente. And notice that all I have here are just singular adjectives. Okay? Adjectives that end in ista are masculine and feminine as well. And really the only one we have been really exposed to is deportista. Ella es deportista, she's sports-minded. Okay, or él es deportista, meaning he likes sports, she likes sports, but we're not using the expression of a él le gusta, right? It's just to describe his personality. Now the third one here, adjectives that end in a consonant are also masculine or feminine. Okay, so we have joven or débil. So ella es joven, or él es joven, y ella es débil, or él es débil. And we do have an exception here with adjectives that end in a consonant, right? So we have adjectives, and there's a little misspelling here. So adjetivos, we got to get rid of a D there. And you know what? We can probably do that right away as we make this, and we'll get rid of that adjetivos, and we'll go back to slideshow from current slide. So adjetivos, so adjectives that end in dor are masculine, such as trabajador, and that's really the only one that we've run into. And so this is kind of breaks the rule of adjectives that end in a consonant, are both masculino y femenino. If they end in dor, they are masculinos, all right? And the feminine form of dor would be dora. So trabajador, él es trabajador, y ella es trabajadora. And I always like to do the funny Dora Dora, la exploradora. Ella es trabajadora. And let's go from singular to plural with adjectives. It's exactly the same as nouns. If the adjective ends in a vowel, you add an S. Gordo, simpático, inteligente would be gordos, simpáticos, or inteligentes. You can write those in. And then if the adjective ends in a consonant, you add ES, just like nouns. So débil would become débiles. Joven would become jóvenes, and that's all we've got here. So I'm going to go ahead and write those in for you so you have them, and you should be doing the same thing. Gordos, simpáticos, and inteligentes. So, débiles and jóvenes. And you see that jóvenes picked up an accent here. If you don't get that down while you're producing this word, it's not a huge deal. I still know what you're talking about. Cool. So that's it on concordancia. Again, adjectives that describe a noun or adjectives that describe a subject have to agree both in gender and in number with the noun they're describing or the subject they're describing. Okay, if you have any questions, please come talk to me.